has over 195 movie and television credits. And she was the first woman to star in a dramatic television series, and also TV's first policewoman, Casey Jones, in Decoy. But to Fanexers, she was a beloved staple of the Roger Corman School of Filmmaking. Make 'em fast, cheap, and fun. Garland, a great screamer, was terrorized by a giant carrot from Venus in It Conquered the World, was a doctor searching the Amazon for a monster in Kuroku, Beast of the Amazon, became a nurse to a blood-seeking alien in Not of This Earth, and was married to one of the alligator people. In 1963, she appeared as one of the doomed Pynchon family in The House of the Seven Gables, one of the 3 stories in the anthology Twice Told Tales. As her career progressed, she went from sexy guest star parts in TV, such as Danger Man, The Twilight Zone, and Wild Wild West, to everyone's favorite mom in the series My 3 Sons, and then played the mother to 3 dynamic female characters, Laura Holt in Remington Steele, Amanda King in Scarecrow and Mrs. King in 1983, and Lois Lane of Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman in 1993. She was certainly up for the task. In her early career, Garland specialized in tough-talking, strong, and passionate dames, and she kept that spirit right through 2004's recurring role on Seventh Heaven. What a dame.
Well, yeah, it was, you see, Frederick Murray never wanted to do this series because he said, let me tell you something, John, I am not interested in working anyone for 3 months, and that's all I want to do. And I want time to travel, and I want time to go to my ranch, and I want time to do things that I want to do. Anywhere from 3 to 4 months is all I'm going to work. I would love to do this series, there's no possibility I can, thank you very much, goodbye. And John said, well, wait a minute, I can do that. He said, no, yes, I can, I'll do it. And he said, okay, how do you do it? So what Don came up with was that he came up with every script was ready. And in those days we did anywhere from 26 to 39 scripts. Every script was done. And we had a script supervisor who was an incredible woman. We did anywhere from we worked anywhere from, you would take home maybe 5, 6, 7 scripts a night, and you would do bits and pieces of those scripts. And what you would do is you would come in, and we did every single thing in Frederick Murray. We started off, and everything was timed, and you all are film buffs, you all know how a film is made. We would do the master shot, which was everybody in the scene. And if there was just Frederick Murray and I, then the master shot would be the 2 of us talking. We would do the scene. Now you come in and you do everything close up. If there's 6 of us, then we do everything close up. If there's 2 of us, we just do the 2. So let's just say there's Fred and I. So we've done the master shot, and then we do Frederick Murray shot. We do his dialogue. I'm off the camera. Now, in time. Oh, we did that. We did that in 2.5 minutes. Okay, well, we have time for you. Or we did that in 5.5 minutes. No time for your close-up, everybody. Finished, okay? Now, we did that until Frederick Murray left. When he left, he worked maybe 3 months, and he left. Now we come back, and we do my close-up on all of these scenes that we've already done. So you could, and I had a very tall girl, her name was Katie Barrett, who was my Frederick Murray. She was very tall, and she did Frederick Murray. I never worked with Frederick Murray. When I got married, Frederick Murray said, yes, Katie. I remember, and then Frederick Murray would come back. And he would come back for maybe 3 weeks after he spent his summer or whatever the hell he was doing, and we would do pickups of things that we had missed. Like when he walks in the kitchen door, we'd all be sitting in the kitchen like, what do you really think so about Charlie? And da-da-da-da. Hi, honey, how are you? And there's nobody there, of course. Now, 3 months later, or 5 months later, he comes back and he comes in and he does his thing. So that's how we did it. And you could never change your hair because you were doing 6, 7 scripts a day. So you had to look from your neck up the same, because you could change your clothes, but you couldn't change your hair because it was too much time, and we were on a time schedule. And I remember the first year that I did this show, for some reason I put a ribbon in my hair. Oh, well. 3 months later they said, did you go into 1073, 6482, script 904? How the hell do I know? Well, you better know. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure. I think I did. What do you mean, think I did? Well, I don't know where I did or not. Stop production. Had to go and get the moviola, take script whatever 9068973 and go through everything and find out that Beverly had a big ribbon. Let me tell you something, Beverly was everything. You know, when we started the show, and I look now on some of the Sun thing when I started, I ended up wearing a half wig because it was too hard to do my hair. So I wore a wig here. And I remember the first show, my hair was kind of curly, funny looking, and then the second year it's a little better. By the third year I got it right, you know. And, but you have to establish everything. The only time that my hair was changed, and they stopped production, was when I got married. It was on top of my head, and they were so excited about putting it on top of my head that it was probably the worst hairdo I've ever seen. Everybody was so excited that it just became a disaster. And every time, and they played that all the time. Then if you do something on television and they play the various things, here I have horrendous hair. But so that was how Fred Murray did it. And then Henry Fonda came in, and Don Feddersen tried to do the same thing with Henry Fonda. Remember that series with a policeman or a police detective or something, and they tried to do that, but the show did not go. But that's how we go. And I can remember going up the stairs and having to say, they're coming downstairs and they cut. So what? No, never. This is the script where your little girl has lumps and you're upset. It's not the birthday party. You must have a sad one. Not a happy one.
Stepdaughter on the show is in reality now your daughter.
Yeah. Actually, Tina Cole has been my daughter-in-law for almost 22 years, but she's only been married to my son for 10. You can figure that all out. Talking about the dinner. Actually, I introduced her to, I first met her on the show, my sister, and I adored her. And actually, if you remember Tina on the show, she's looking at it. She's adorable. She hasn't changed at all. I introduced her to my son, and he was so taken by her that he took her out, and then he didn't take her out again for about 4 years. But he would call her every year. He would get involved with somebody, and then he would call her home. And so finally, around the 4th year, I guess, or 5th year, he called her on the phone around midnight. He called me and he said, I've just broken up with my girlfriend. What is Tina Cole's phone number? I said, small. I call it small. Big small. I said, small, you can't call. I mean, you've been doing this. You can call her back. Or they would talk maybe 3 or 4 hours and then make it okay a while. So I said, you can't. I mean, she said, the mother gets, let me get. I said, okay. So she answered the phone and they talked for another 3.5 hours. And she said, I want to tell you something. I want you to call. And he said, what? She said, well, I haven't seen you in about 4.5 years. I don't know what you look like. I don't know whether you're fat, thin, or bald, or what you look like. And I never see you. And we have these conversations, and then you go call for another year, and then you send these magnificent flowers, so forget it. He said, well, wait. Would you like to go skiing? And so she said, yeah. And so he said, well, could we have lunch? She said, yeah. So they had lunch, and I guess this was the end of October, and that December, they were married 3 months later. So, work. Big story.
The latest television series is Scarecrow.
Right. Yes. show a certain way, Warner Brothers did that another way, another way. So there was always some kind of tension, there just was. And Katie directed about 4 of the shows. I mean, she was marvelous. I mean, just had it down and really knew what she was doing. Very bright lady, but it was a very tough show for her because she was the producer, or one of the producers, and everything was right. And then at the very end, before she left, she had this cancer scare, and she was scared. She took a good look at her life and pressures, and she just said, I can't do it. I should ask her. By this time, she was pretty much a nervous wreck. Cancer being scared to death, and she was having a lot of infighting as far as everybody deciding what they wanted and what they didn't want. And so Katie just decided that was the end, and that was the end of the show. And it was too bad because I think the show would have gone another 3 or 4 years easily. But that was her call, and she didn't regret that. And so that's what's going to happen.
So that's something to do. 5 films for director Roger Corman. How's that association?
It's funny, I cannot remember where I ever met Roger. Does anybody remember? Carl probably remembers. He knows more about me than I know myself. But I guess I must have just gone out for some reading or something and did, I think the first show that I did was Swamp Thing. And we did that in New Orleans, and that's when I first met Roger. And that was a tough shoot. Roger found an old hotel that was abandoned, and they had not taken out all the beds yet, from some of the chairs. And we rented it. And I remember I remember the first night we got there, and who was the gal? Marie Windsor. Marie Windsor had a room next to mine. And I had a room. Everybody shared a bath. And of course, at night, after being in the swamp with all the stuff, it was something else. And you just couldn't wait to get in that bath. Hoping the man or the woman who had the room next to you wasn't using the bath at the same time you wanted to use the bath. Those were kind of, place to stay with Roger. And Marie Windsor was in the room next to me, and we finally unpacked, and wooden floors, and these kind of, metal beds, and she had just gotten married to Jack Cobb, and she was so excited. She was telling me all about it. We were sitting on her bed talking, and finally, Marie, I gotta go. So I went around, got into my phone, but suddenly I screamed, crash, and I ran next door and said, Marie, and she opened the door. By this time, she was hysterical, laughing. The whole bed. But we were in the swamp, and we wandered around the swamp, and of course Roger had a great idea for us putting our Levi's sauce. It would be sexy, that's the sexy. But in those days, what you see today, sexy. Oh gosh, oh, we did all your stuff. I did all my stuff, all my writing and all my fighting, and whatever stuff had to be done. And I remember in that show, and I had such faith in the people that I worked with. I remember I get killed in that show, and I'm in a tree, and I'm very high in this tree. And Roger said to me, "Okay, now when you get shot, you just go, and there'll be somebody to catch you." And I believe that. Thank God, he was a big guy like you, and he caught me. If he hadn't, I would have died. There's so many times I would have died. I can't believe how I did a picture called Cruise to Be Free. Anybody remember that? And there we are, what's his name, the guy that played opposite me, John Thompson. And we have this, we're captured. And it was the toughest location I've ever been on. There was no makeup man, and there were no dressing rooms. Everybody got, you know, everybody had to get, everybody had to die. No John. You had to get in a truck to go to his house. And I can't believe it. The story of the cruise was something else. But, and I had red hair. And I said to them, now, should I take my hair dye black? No, take your red dye. You don't have to be black. I got there was no black. It was only that black that was put on my little dust. So every night I had to dye my hair. Because that peroxide would last maybe the day. You would bring it up for the day, and then at night it was black rose again. Every night I was really peroxide and red. Oh, God, never know. So anyway, here we are at this village, and nobody spoke English except John Bromfield. And John Bromfield got married to Lori Thomas in Brazil, and so they didn't want me around. So I didn't speak to anybody for 3 months. See, Mac every now and then would say something to me, but he spoke everything. And everybody spoke Portuguese, which sounds like Spanish. It isn't. It's anywhere close. So I just never spoke to anybody. I had a little Indian man in a roll, and he carried it around over me like this. And we had the monster. The monster had all these chicken feathers all over it. We had all these chicken feathers over this monster. And somehow somebody stole the costume of the monster with all the chicken feathers. Because we had to make a new cape with the monster. But we had no chicken feathers. And my little man with his umbrella, he went out one night. Somebody's placenta and those grandchildren. And he killed all the chickens. And they almost put them in jail. So back to the village. They built this village out of palm lawns. A good 10 days before we shoot. And it's hot as hell. So now we're shooting. And we're now in this village, and I think he has 2 cameras working. 2 or 3 cameras. The first time I've ever seen that, we had 2 cameras. And they throw the spear to light, and it goes, it starts well, and it goes pop, and then it goes, because this is so loud. And I can remember standing there, looking at this wall of fire. And I pushed John, because he was as stunned as I was, and he got the money. And I thought, no, go on and die. That's all. I mean, all this goes through your head, and it's a split second. Then I thought to myself, die. I just got to go. And I ran, but I'll tell you, when I ran out of it, I mean, my eyebrows were awful, my eyelashes were awful. It was very close. And then we had another wonderful little thing. We had a boat, and we had the scene where the boat was Victor drops into a rapid turn himself around Beverly Garland. And this boat was as long as from that wall to that wall, and it was huge, it was big. And we had 3 or 4 natives on one end of the boat, and 3 or 4 natives on the other end of the boat. They wrapped the boat around me, and then these guys hung on to them. And I'm on the ground, and I'm screaming, and Kurt's yelling like this, "Cut! Are you all right?" And I said, "Am I not supposed to be screaming here?" He said, "But I want to be sure you're all right." I said, "Yeah, I'm screaming, I'm fine, go with it, get it on." So, start again, and do this. And it must have been about, I guess 20 years later, Christy on that came up to my home, and we talked, and we had coffee, and he was saying to me, we were talking about overseas, which is what it is here. And we were talking, and he said, I want to give you a lot of credit. no matter if you cut his head off or shoot him or whatever, he cannot unconstrict. I mean, it just takes him time to do that. His muscles will not go like that. They just take time, and by that time you're dead, you know. So, I'm here. But you know, you did all that stuff, and you loved it, and you didn't care, and you adventure, and the more wild stuff you could do, the more crazy stuff you could do, the more you could get in the water with alligators, the more the snakes were wrapped around you, the more you could cross from a tree, the more fun it was. I mean, it was so fun for me. I mean, the worse it got was the best. I loved it, you know. When you had to, you know, sludge through the thing, or you had to have the rain, or whatever, those were the best times. You know, those were the very best. And I was lucky because I got to tour these movies, you know, with the best. I mean, you know, I got to tour in the rain and the slush and the snow and the alligators and the whole damn thing. I mean, I just lucked out. I just lucked out.
Speaking of alligators,
Yeah.
alligator people. Terrible title, but a damn good movie.
Yeah, and I was telling Carl a story about last night. I tell that story
Yeah.
about the alligator. You know, we did that movie, and it was a good movie, but we had one alligator there. And that's all we had. The property, one alligator. We had a couple, and I think they made some feet and they made some hams, but that was it. So when the heroine, when I go to the clinic, when I go to the clinic, he has all these men that he's called back, and they are all in various stages of becoming alligators. And of course, he wanted the audience to realize that they were just not men walking around here, that they had become, at this point now, alligators. And the main thing was to try to change them back. So, when I walked in, and much of this they had cut in the picture that you see today, but when I walked in, there were many men walking up and down the halls in various stages of being an alligator. Well, they had no alligator heads, so they didn't know what they were going to do, so they decided what they would do is they put all these men in long white gowns, and they would put something on their heads so it looked like that they were being treated for something. You could see their hands becoming alligator hands and their feet becoming alligator feet, but you were not sure about the rest of them, and that was the mystery, and that was going to be good. And so I had no idea what they had done. I just knew that I was going to walk into the wedding, and I remember going up, and I remember it was just before noon, and I knocked on the door, and this woman answered the door, and I walk in, and I see all these men walking down the corridor, and they all look like they have these urinals. Well, I felt so bad. Yeah, they could have just said, let's drink so much. I could not do it. I mean, I was, you know, I'll never forget when I did some man around here today said, you did a bump up. You remember bump up? And I'll never forget in my life. The other time I woke up so bad is that alligator people I woke up so bad I could not shoot till after lunch. And it was bomba. I opened the door and he said, the line talk, he said, me, bomba. And my line is, ooh, bomba. I mean, it was a good 45 minutes. You figured, you know, you got a lot of bread and cheese and meat. You know, survive, you know. And I remember that John Bromfield, not me, that John Ireland and I did a love scene very early in the morning. It must have been, I guess 6:30 something in the morning in this tree. And, which was certainly picturesque. I don't know why the hell we were in this tree, but we were in it. And I remember this tree belonged to somebody else. It belonged to these large red ants. They were not happy. He had decided early in the morning to disturb them. And so they were crawling all over us and biting us. And we were doing this wonderful scene. And then I remember Allison Hayes, who just had you know, the location, rain, cold. She looked wonderful. She was a wonderful chef. She was a great looking woman. And I remember they come into town just before lunch, and they ride into town in Mr. Gordon, and John Ireland, and Allison. And Allison sits on the sofa, it's quiet. I mean, we're not doing anything. I'm talking to them. I'm looking up and saying, blah, 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 blah. And she starts down to me. And all of a sudden, my theory is that Allison wanted to get off. So she sits like this, and she goes. She falls off the horse. And breaks her arm. And says, well, Roger, I cannot go on. I'm sorry. You have to do it. And I said, oh, no. It'll be just fine. All out. Nobody will ever know. She did everything she could. The doctor that he sent her to said she'll be fine. She said, I'm not fine. I got a broken arm. Don't worry about it. You should have won. She finished the movie. You always finish. The only way you got out of it is to let it down. Don't you worry. Because he wasn't going to spend his money with you. In this movie, I'm the sheriff, and the last day of shooting is all my fights, you know, the fights of the girls in the bar that I want out, and of my town. And we have a knockdown fight. And boy, I mean, he didn't put any good punch. He scratched people there and did everything. You know, Roger laughed. So, the day before, we're still out of the ranch, and it's wet muck. And I come out of the bar, and we have done the fight, which we have to do that tomorrow. Come out of the thing, and I run, and Roger says to me, and I want you to run down the stairs, and I want you to jump on that horse and run out of here. And I went, think high. Hi. Run! Go! And I go, run. And that's on the other side. And the camera said she went up. I never saw it. So I said, okay, let's do it again. Think high. Cool. I don't even try. That's so bad. But you roll. And so I come running down the stairs. As I do, I twist my hip. And then it is there. You know, then it's just gone. And so, you know, we stop, and Roger, sets up the shot differently, and they get a box, and then they make it look like I'm running, and then they help me on the bloody horse, and I run, and I go, and come back, and now it's pretty close to closing, time for us to wrap. And I did the horse and whatever little stuff we had left to do, but that's about all I could do. And, but it was very close to, wrapping time. So I go home and I get into a hot bath. Oh, it gets hotter and hotter, that water. Get up in the morning, my ankle. So I have to call my boyfriend, and he comes, and he picks me up, and he takes, I can't drive, I can't walk on my foot at all. And so he takes me to that, and I said, Roger, I can't do my son. I can't walk. That's the last thing Roger said, one little way from me, I looked at my leg, slipped my pants, my cowboy pants down, the back, takes my boots, slips it down the back, and then he comes to the man. And he says, I'm the doctor. And he brings out the syringe, and he gives me about 5 shots at each in the bone of my ankle, and had like a rubber leg. Did all my stuff, did the fight, did everything. The boot was all taped, the pants were all taped. Nobody could tell the difference, and I just was fabulous. And that was the shot until maybe 8, 9 o'clock. I know. It took me about a month before I could walk on that. Because I don't want to do it. But, you know, go to work. Finish your movie, boy, no matter what. And I remember when we did The Conquer the World. Was it Conquer the World or what was the guy that had the eyes? Another when he left, he was so furious, you know, because Roger made him wear these contact lenses. And in those days, contact lenses were not like you and I wear today. I mean, they were really, you know, they were hard, plastic stuff. They just made it miserable. Hey, Roger Corman. And he didn't like the setup. He didn't like chicken war sandwiches. He didn't like his dressing room, which was absolutely none. And so he finally said goodbye, and he walked out. And it didn't take right. I mean, he was not happy to walk out, but he got somebody who looked the same from the back, and he just went on. And if you'll notice in that picture, there's a lot of stuff in the back of this guy. They have no front. Not about 2 weeks later that I was going to go to New York, and I was going to leave in the airport. And he said, well, I may not be here when you get back. Well, of course, he would have got that, but I didn't know that. I believed everything he said about it. Now I know. So anyway, so I called, and I thought about it. And I thought, you know, what do I really want in my life? Do I want, is my life dedicated to my career? Because if it is dedicated to my career, I want to make that, I want to know that in my head now. Or is my life going to be dedicated to a marriage and children, which I want to say that. And whatever I chose was going to be the first thing that I did. I mean, if I got married and my career was the most important, no matter what happened to my marriage, I was going to go with something. That's what I did. So I made a choice, and the choice ended up being that marriage was more important than the career. And I've lived that way since I got married, in 30 some odd years. And so my marriage has always come first, my career has always come second. And so I called Vecchio and said that I wasn't going to do it. So again, you know, I made a choice. We all make choices in our lives, and that was the second choice. The decoy was the first, and the miracle worker was the second. Interestingly enough, dark-haired little girl, Susan Plachette, took over that part that I didn't do. And I heard an interview with her, and which I thought was kind of interesting. She said that she had gone to New York and she had done miracle work. And what I thought was fascinating is she said, you know, I went to New York and I did the miracle work, and they wanted me to be Anne Bancroft. And she said, I'm not Anne Bancroft. Yes, but Anne did it this way. And when Anne walked in, she did it that way. And then when she talked to the girl, she did it that way. And then she said, yes, but I'm Susan Plachette. Plachette, what should we do? Anne Bancroft. I can't do Anne Bancroft. You know, I can only do me. So she said it was very hard. So I think to myself, well, maybe it was right to Because it anti-pop was so magnificent in that show that whoever took over and wanted her to be a clone. We can't do that. We just do it differently. I have to ask him all these questions about his dad, about his makeup and the thing, and he told me all these wonderful stories about his father, and he was just a sweetheart of a guy. I just pretty well like everybody, and everybody's pretty well like me. I really had no trouble at all, but I'm a very direct, probably tough broad, and so people don't fool around with me.